Rhythm flows in shadows, moves like a prowler. Stealthy unseen steps echo louder. Grime in the groove, night creeps for miles. Moss dancers twist, grimace and smile. Galley ballet, sinister swerves. Feet lit, heavy asphalt serves nerves. Limbs articulate, silence in a pulse. Bodies parlay, no light convulse. Midnight syncopation, steps blur the scene. Blind to the fog, blue lights intervene. Concrete chords, choreography's crime. Dark telling secrets, one beat at a time. Twist like spirit, smoke trails behind. Movements mimic phantom, shadows confined. It will blink from hidden blades. Rhythm of danger, beat cascades. Whispered cadence, footfalls blend. Midnight melodies, darkness transcend. Every step a tale, each move a shift. Echoes of the night's sinister drift. Ghastly grooves in the moon's cold stare. Wicked walls where nightmares share. Phantom limbs, phantom grace. Dancers lost in eternal chase. Ballet, sinister swerves. Feet land, heavy asphalt serves nerves. Limbs articulate, silence in a pulse. Bodies parlay, no light convulse. Back alley ballet, sinister swerves. Feet land, heavy asphalt serves nerves. Limbs articulate, silence in a pulse. Bodies parlay, no light convulse. Back alley ballet, sinister swerves. Feet land, heavy asphalt serves nerves. Limbs articulate, silence in a pulse. Bodies parlay, no light convulse. Back alley ballet, sinister swerves. Feet land, heavy asphalt serves nerves. Limbs articulate, silence in a pulse. Bodies parlay, no light convulse. Midnight syncopation, steps blur the scene. Glide through the fog, blue lights intervene. Concrete chords, choreography's crime. Dark telling secrets, one beat at a time. Smoke trails behind, movements mimic phantom, shadows confined. It will blend from hidden blades. Rhythm of danger, beat cascades. Whispered cadence, footfalls blend. Midnight melodies, darkness transcend. Every step a tale, each move a shift. Echoes of the night's sinister drift.
Course title, Introductory Choreography, Physics of Motion, Evolution of Action, and Achieving Permanence. Course description: this introductory course will delve into the fundamental principles of choreography, intertwining movement with the physics of motion, the evolutionary aspects of human action, and the pursuit of artistic permanence. Through a blend of theoretical exploration, practical application, and performance experiences, students will investigate how physical laws govern movement, how human action has evolved over time, and how these insights can inform and enrich choreographic practice with the goal of creating enduring artistic statements. Course objectives: understand the principles of physics that govern human movement, such as gravity, momentum, and leverage. Explore the evolutionary history of human movement, from early hominids to contemporary humans. Develop an understanding of how biomechanics and kinesiology inform choreographic choices. Explore how the physics of motion can be utilized to create dynamic and expressive movement. Develop choreographic works that reflect an understanding of the evolution of human action and its implications for movement. Foster critical thinking and analysis of movement from a scientific and artistic perspective. Investigate the concept of artistic permanence and its significance in choreography. Develop strategies for documenting and preserving choreographic works. Cultivate an understanding of the role of audience reception and critical discourse in shaping the legacy of a dance work. Gain experience in performing choreographed works and presenting them to an audience. Develop performance skills such as stage presence, audience engagement, and improvisation. Course topics: physics of motion, gravity and its impact on movement. momentum, inertia, and force in dance. Leverage and its application in choreography. Biomechanics and kinesiology, understanding the human body in motion. Evolution of human action, the evolution of bipedalism and its impact on movement. The development of tool use and its relationship to movement. The evolution of communication and its expression through movement. Cultural and social influences on human movement. Choreographic applications, incorporating principles of physics into movement phrases. Exploring evolutionary movement patterns in choreographic contexts. Creating movement that reflects the interplay between nature and culture. Developing choreographic works that address themes of human origins and evolution. Permanence and legacy, the concept of artistic permanence in dance. Strategies for documenting choreographic works, video, notation, etc. The role of audience reception and critical discourse in shaping a dance work's legacy. Preserving and archiving dance performances for future generations. Performance and presentation, stage presence and audience engagement. Performing choreographed works in class and potentially in public settings. Improvisation and its role in performance. Receiving and responding to audience feedback. Course objectives. Upon successful completion of this course, students will be able to understand and apply the principles of physics that govern human movement: gravity, momentum, leverage. Analyze the evolutionary history of human movement and its impact on contemporary dance. Demonstrate an understanding of biomechanics and kinesiology in relation to choreographic choices. Create movement phrases that effectively utilize the physics of motion. Develop choreographic works that reflect an understanding of the evolution of human action. Critically analyze movement from a scientific and artistic perspective. Investigate the concept of artistic permanence in dance. Develop strategies for documenting and preserving choreographic works. Understand the role of audience reception and critical discourse in shaping a dance work's legacy. Perform choreographed works with stage presence and audience engagement. Develop improvisational skills within a choreographic context. Here are 5 case studies that could be used in the introductory choreography course you described. Case study 1. Gravity and verticality. Choreographic concept, a solo piece exploring the human body's relationship with gravity, using movements that ascend, descend, and defy expectations. Physics focus, gravity as a constant force pulling the body towards the ground, the use of momentum and counterbalance to create dynamic verticality, and the exploration of potential energy and kinetic energy in movement. Evolutionary considerations, the evolution of bipedalism and its impact on human movement, the ability to stand upright and navigate vertical spaces, and the significance of verticality in human culture and symbolism. Choreographic elements, jumps, leaps, falls, spirals, and other movements that emphasize the upward and downward trajectories of the body. Artistic permanence, the use of gravity as a universal force that connects the dancer to the earth and evokes a sense of timelessness and connection to the natural world. Case study 2, Momentum and Flow. Choreographic concept, a duet exploring the concept of momentum, the continuous flow of energy between two dancers. Physics focus, the laws of motion, including inertia, acceleration, and the conservation of momentum. The use of contact, partnering, and weight transfer to create a seamless flow of movement between the dancers. Evolutionary considerations, the evolution of social interaction and cooperation, the development of synchronized movement patterns, and the importance of physical contact in human communication. Choreographic elements, fluid movements, continuous transitions, and the use of weight sharing and counterbalance to create a sense of momentum and flow. Artistic permanence, the exploration of the interconnectedness of human beings and the power of collective movement to create a sense of unity and shared experience. Case Study 3, Leverage and Manipulation. Choreographic concept, a solo piece exploring the use of leverage and manipulation to create dynamic and expressive movements. Physics focus, the concept of leverage, the use of a lever to multiply force or change its direction. The exploration of different levers in the human body, such as bones, muscles, and tendons, and how they can be used to create movement. Evolutionary considerations, the development of tool use and its impact on human movement, the ability to manipulate objects and tools with precision and control, and the evolution of the human hand and brain for dexterity and manipulation. Choreographic elements, movements that utilize levers, such as lifts, throws, turns, and spirals. The use of props or objects to enhance leverage and create dynamic effects. Artistic permanence, the exploration of the human body as a tool for manipulation and expression, and the ability to create movement that is both physically challenging and emotionally evocative. Case Study 4, Rhythmic Patterns and Embodied Time. Choreographic concept, a group piece exploring the relationship between movement, rhythm, and time. Physics focus, the concept of rhythm as the repetition of a pattern or sequence in time. The exploration of different rhythmic patterns, such as linear, cyclical, and fractal, and how they can be embodied in movement. Evolutionary considerations, the evolution of human perception of time, the development of musicality and rhythm, and the use of rhythm to communicate and coordinate social behavior. Choreographic elements, movements that incorporate rhythmic patterns, such as clapping, stamping, drumming, and synchronized group movements. The use of music and sound to reinforce or contrast with the movement patterns. Artistic permanence, the exploration of the universal nature of rhythm and its ability to connect people across cultures and time periods. 1. The creation of a shared experience through the collective embodiment of rhythmic patterns. Case Study 5, Evolutionary Dance and Cultural Expression. Choreographic concept, a multidisciplinary performance that explores the evolution of dance as a form of cultural expression. Physics focus, the exploration of how different cultural dance forms have evolved to reflect the physical capabilities and limitations of the human body, as well as the environmental and social factors that have shaped their development. Evolutionary considerations, the evolution of human communication and expression, the development of different cultural traditions and practices, and the role of dance in social bonding, ritual, and celebration. Choreographic elements, a diverse range of dance styles and techniques, including traditional folk dances, contemporary dance, and experimental forms. The use of music, costumes, props, and set design to create a rich and immersive cultural experience. Artistic permanence, the celebration of cultural diversity and the power of dance to transcend cultural boundaries and connect people across time and space. The documentation and preservation of traditional dance forms for future generations. Case Study 5, Evolutionary Dance and Cultural Expression. Choreographic concept, a multidisciplinary performance that explores the evolution of dance as a form of cultural expression. Physics focus, the exploration of how different cultural dance forms have evolved to reflect the physical capabilities and limitations of the human body, as well as the environmental and social factors that have shaped their development. Evolutionary considerations, the evolution of human communication and expression, the development of different cultural traditions and practices, and the role of dance in social bonding, ritual, and celebration. Choreographic elements, a diverse range of dance styles and techniques, including traditional folk dances, contemporary dance, and experimental forms. The use of music, costumes, props, and set design to create a rich and immersive cultural experience. Artistic permanence, the celebration of cultural diversity and the power of dance to transcend cultural boundaries and connect people across time and space. The documentation and preservation of traditional dance forms for future generations. Case Study 5, Evolutionary Dance and Cultural Expression. Choreographic concept, a multidisciplinary performance that explores the evolution of dance as a form of cultural expression. Physics focus, the exploration of how different cultural dance forms have evolved to reflect the physical capabilities and limitations of the human body, as well as the environmental and social factors that have shaped their development. Evolutionary considerations, the evolution of human communication and expression, the development of different cultural traditions and practices, and the role of dance in social bonding, ritual, and celebration. Choreographic elements, a diverse range of dance styles and techniques, including traditional folk dances, contemporary dance, and experimental forms. The use of music, costumes, props, and set design to create a rich and immersive cultural experience. Artistic permanence, the celebration of cultural diversity and the power of dance to transcend cultural boundaries and connect people across time and space. The documentation and preservation of traditional dance forms for future generations. Case Study 6, the evolution of bipedalism and walking. Choreographic concept, a solo or group piece exploring the mechanics and aesthetics of walking, from early hominid gaits to contemporary human locomotion. Physics focus, center of gravity, weight transfer, stride length, and the biomechanics of efficient walking. Evolutionary considerations, the significance of bipedalism in human evolution, the development of upright posture, and the impact of gravity on human movement. Choreographic elements, variations on walking gaits, including slow, deliberate steps, bounding strides, and exaggerated movements that emphasize the mechanics of walking. Artistic permanence, exploring the fundamental human act of walking as a timeless and universal form of expression, connecting the dancer to their evolutionary past. Case Study 7, Tool Use and Movement. Choreographic concept, a piece that explores the relationship between tool use and movement, drawing inspiration from ancient tool-making cultures. Physics focus, leverage, manipulation, and the interplay between the human body and tools. Evolutionary considerations, the development of tool use as a key factor in human evolution, the impact of tool use on hand-eye coordination and dexterity, and the cultural significance of tools in human societies. Choreographic elements, incorporating props and tools into the movement, such as sticks, stones, or found objects. Exploring movements that mimic the actions of tool use, such as hammering, throwing, and shaping. Artistic permanence, reflecting on the enduring human impulse to create and use tools, and the impact of technology on human movement and culture. Case Study 8, the evolution of communication and gestures, facial expressions, and body language into the movement. Exploring the use of movement to convey emotions, ideas, and stories. Artistic permanence, investigating the enduring power of nonverbal communication and the ability of movement to transcend linguistic barriers and connect with audiences on a universal level. Case Study 9, Animal Movement and Human Inspiration. Choreographic concept, a piece drawing inspiration from the movement of animals, exploring how animal behaviors can inform human movement. Physics focus, analyzing the principles of motion in different animal species, such as the fluid movements of a snake, the powerful leaps of a frog, or the intricate flight patterns of a bird. Evolutionary considerations, the evolutionary relationships between humans and other animals, the study of animal behavior, and the use of animal movement as a source of inspiration for artists and choreographers. Choreographic elements, incorporating animal-like qualities into the movement, such as fluidity, agility, strength, and grace. exploring movements that mimic the behaviors of different animals, such as crawling, slithering, leaping, and flying. Artistic permanence, celebrating the diversity of life on Earth and exploring the interconnectedness between humans and the natural world. Case Study 10, The Impact of Technology on Movement. Choreographic Concept, a piece reflecting on the impact of technology on human movement in the 21st century. Physics Focus, exploring the interplay between technology and the human body, such as the use of technology in sports, medicine, and entertainment. Evolutionary Considerations, the rapid pace of technological change and its impact on human society and culture. Choreographic Elements, incorporating technological elements into the movement, such as video projections, sound design, and interactive technology. Exploring the relationship between the human body and machines, and the potential for technology to enhance or augment human movement. Artistic Permanence, examining the evolving relationship between technology and the human experience, and the potential for technology to shape the future of dance and movement. Key considerations for Week 1 of Introductory Choreography with Case Study Focus, Course Introduction and Logistics, Syllabus Review. Clearly outline the course objectives, grading criteria, and expectations. Briefly introduce the overarching themes of the course, such as the physics of motion, evolution of human action, and achieving permanence. Case Study Preview, briefly present the 5 case studies that will be explored throughout the semester, emphasizing the diverse range of topics and approaches. Icebreaker Activities, encourage student interaction and build a sense of community within the class. Foundational Movement Principles, Gravity and Grounding, introduce the concept of gravity and its impact on movement. Guide students through exercises that explore grounding, weight shifting, and finding stability. Relates to Case Studies 1 and 6. Basic Movement Vocabulary, introduce fundamental movement skills e.g. bending, stretching, turning, traveling as building blocks for more complex movement phrases. Exploration and experimentation, improvisation with focus, guide students through simple improvisation exercises, encouraging them to explore movement qualities related to the first case study e.g. gravity and verticality. Observation and analysis, introduce basic principles of movement observation, such as identifying key actions, analyzing the use of space and time, and recognizing the impact of gravity. 11. The evolution of gesture, from primate communication to human language. Focus, trace the evolutionary roots of human language by examining how gestures evolved in primates and early hominids. Linguistic concepts, origins of language, evolution of communication, the role of gesture in primate societies. Movement concepts, primate communication, the use of gestures in early human societies, the relationship between gesture and spoken language. Case study example, research and analyze studies on primate communication, focusing on the use of gestures and their potential link to the development of human language. 12. The physics of speech, breath, resonance, and articulation. Focus, explore the physical principles that underlie human speech, examining how the body produces sound and shapes it into language. Linguistic concepts, phonetics, phonology, articulation, respiration. Movement concepts, breath control, vocalization, articulation exercises, exploring the physicality of speech. Case study example, investigate the physical mechanisms of speech production, including the role of the diaphragm, vocal cords, and articulators. 13. The body as instrument, exploring vocal percussion and body music. Focus, investigate forms of vocal expression that go beyond traditional speech, exploring techniques like beatboxing, throat singing, and body percussion. Linguistic concepts, vocalization, rhythm, timbre, the use of the body to produce sound. Movement concepts, vocal percussion, body percussion, rhythmic movement, exploring the body as a musical instrument. Case study example, research and analyze different forms of vocal percussion and body music from around the world. 14 Language, memory, and embodied cognition. Focus, explore the relationship between language, memory, and embodied cognition, examining how the body and movement influence our understanding and use of language. Linguistic concepts, embodied cognition, language acquisition, memory, the role of the body in language processing. Movement concepts, gesture and language learning, embodied metaphors, the use of movement to enhance memory and recall. Case study example, investigate research on embodied cognition and its implications for language learning and communication. 15 The future of language and movement, technology and the evolving landscape of communication. Focus, examine the impact of technology on language and communication, exploring the emergence of new forms of language and movement in the digital age. Linguistic concepts, digital communication, social media, artificial intelligence, the evolution of language in the digital age. Movement concepts, virtual reality, augmented reality, dance in the digital age, the use of technology to create and share movement experiences. Case study example, analyze the impact of social media on language use and the emergence of new forms of online communication and self-expression. 16 Sign language, a visual language of movement. Focus, explore the unique relationship between language and movement in sign languages, examining how signers use their hands, bodies, and facial expressions to convey meaning. Point 1. Linguistic concepts, sign language linguistics, grammar, phonology, morphology, syntax. Point 2. Movement concepts, hand shapes, movements, facial expressions, spatial relationships, the use of the body as a visual language. Point 3. Case study example, analyze the grammar and structure of a specific sign language, e.g. American Sign Language, British Sign Language, focusing on how movement conveys grammatical information. 17 Language disorders and movement, exploring apraxia of speech. Focus, investigate the relationship between language and movement by examining conditions like apraxia of speech, which affects the ability to plan and execute the motor movements required for speech. Point 4. Linguistic concepts, apraxia of speech, speech disorders, motor speech planning, language production. Movement concepts, motor planning, coordination, the relationship between motor control and speech production. Case study example, research and analyze the neurological and cognitive factors that contribute to apraxia of speech, and explore how movement therapy can be used to support speech rehabilitation. 18 Language and embodied metaphor, exploring the physicality of meaning. Focus, delve deeper into the concept of embodied metaphor, examining how our physical experiences shape our understanding and use of language. Linguistic concepts, metaphor, metonymy, embodied cognition, the role of the body in language comprehension. Movement concepts, exploring the physical sensations and experiences that underlie common metaphors, e.g. feeling blue, breaking the ice. Case study example, analyze the use of embodied metaphors in literature, poetry, and everyday conversation. 19 The role of movement in language acquisition. Focus, investigate the role of movement in language acquisition in infants and young children, exploring how physical activity and sensory experiences contribute to language development. Linguistic concepts, language acquisition, early childhood development, the role of play in language learning. Movement concepts, gross motor skills, fine motor skills, sensory integration, the use of movement in early childhood education. Case study example, research and analyze studies on the relationship between physical activity and language development in young children. 20. Movement and the expression of emotion in language. Focus, explore the role of movement in expressing emotion through language, examining how vocal intonation, body language, and facial expressions contribute to the emotional impact of speech. Linguistic concepts, prosody, intonation, emotional expression, the role of nonverbal cues in communication. Movement concepts, vocal expression, facial expressions, body language, the use of movement to convey emotions. 5. Case study example, analyze the role of movement and vocal expression in conveying emotions in different cultural contexts. Key considerations for Week 2 of Introductory Choreography with Case Study Focus, deep dive into Case Study 1, class discussion, facilitate a discussion on the initial homework assignment related to Case Study 1 e.g. gravity and verticality. Encourage students to share their experiences and observations. Guide a discussion on the concepts of gravity, weight, and verticality in relation to human movement. Movement exploration, lead students in movement explorations that further investigate the concepts of Case Study 1. For example, exercises focusing on falling and recovering, using momentum to defy gravity, or exploring different levels and planes of movement. Introducing Case Study 2, presentation and discussion, introduce Case Study 2 momentum and flow. Discuss the key concepts of momentum, inertia, and force in relation to human movement. Provide examples of how these concepts manifest in everyday life and in dance. Movement exploration Case Study 2, partner work, begin simple partner exercises that explore concepts of weight sharing, momentum transfer, and the continuous flow of energy between two bodies. Focus on contact and release, guide students in exploring how contact and release can be used to create dynamic movement phrases. 21. The over-the-shoulder shot, analyzing cinematic action. Focus, deconstruct the iconic over-the-shoulder shot used in countless action films, examining its function in creating suspense, tension, and audience engagement. Film analysis, shot composition, camera angles, editing techniques, the use of sound and music to enhance action. Action concepts, creating suspense, building tension, point of view storytelling, the role of the camera in shaping audience experience. Case study example, analyze the use of the over-the-shoulder shot in a specific action film e.g. The Terminator, Die Hard, Mad Max, Fury Road and discuss its impact on the pacing and intensity of the action sequence. 22. The slow motion bullet time effect, exploring style and impact. Focus, examine the impact of the bullet time effect popularized by The Matrix on action cinema, analyzing its visual style, its influence on storytelling, and its impact on audience perception. Film analysis, special effects, cinematography, editing, the use of slow motion to enhance action sequences. Action concepts, stylization, visual spectacle, the manipulation of time in film, the impact of technology on action filmmaking. Case study example, analyze the use of bullet time or similar slow motion effects in different action films and discuss their effectiveness in conveying a sense of power, grace, or heightened reality. 23. The car chase, a classic action set piece. Focus, analyze the key elements of a classic car chase sequence, examining factors such as pacing, editing, cinematography, sound design, and the integration of stunts and special effects. Film analysis, editing techniques e.g. cross-cutting, match cuts, sound design, camera work e.g. tracking shots, aerial shots, the use of stunt driving and special effects. Action concepts, creating dynamic movement, building suspense, choreographing vehicular action, the role of the environment in shaping the chase. Case study example, analyze a famous car chase sequence from a classic action film e.g. Bullet, The French Connection, Mad Max, Fury Road, and identify the key elements that contribute to its effectiveness. 24. The one-take action sequence, a test of skill and creativity. Focus, explore the challenges and rewards of creating one-take action sequences, examining the planning, execution, and creative constraints involved in such ambitious undertakings. Film analysis, cinematography, editing, choreography, the use of long takes to create a sense of fluidity and realism. Action concepts, choreography and planning, the importance of rehearsal, the creation of seamless and dynamic action sequences. Case study example, analyze a famous one-take action sequence from a film like Russian Ark or Good Time and discuss the creative choices made by the filmmakers to achieve this ambitious feat. 25. The stunt double, exploring the art of risk and illusion. Focus, examine the role of stunt performers in action cinema, analyzing the skills, techniques, and safety measures involved in performing dangerous stunts. Film analysis, the use of stunt doubles, wire work, special effects, the importance of safety and professionalism in stunt performance. Action concepts, the art of illusion, the importance of physical training and athleticism, the risks and rewards of performing dangerous stunts. Case study example, research and discuss the career of a renowned stunt performer and analyze the specific skills and techniques they employ in their work. 26. The heist film, analyzing the art of the plan. Focus, analyze the planning and execution of elaborate heists in action films, examining the role of teamwork, strategy, and improvisation. Film analysis, plot structure, character development, the use of suspense and misdirection, the role of technology and gadgets in heist films. Action concepts, planning and execution, teamwork and coordination, overcoming obstacles, the use of suspense and misdirection to create dramatic tension. Case study example, analyze the heist sequence in a classic film like Ocean's 11, The Italian Job, or Heat, examining the intricate planning and execution of the heist. 27. The martial arts film, exploring the philosophy of combat. Focus, explore the philosophical and cultural underpinnings of martial arts films, examining how they blend physical combat with themes of honor, discipline, and personal growth. Film analysis, choreography, character development, the use of cultural symbolism and mythology, the portrayal of different martial arts styles. Action concepts, martial arts philosophy, the importance of training and discipline, the use of combat as a form of self-expression and spiritual growth. Case study example, analyze a classic martial arts film like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Enter the Dragon, or Ip Man, examining the film's philosophical and cultural themes. 28. The superhero film, exploring the physics of flight and superpowers. Focus, analyze the depiction of superpowers and superhuman feats in action films, examining how filmmakers use visual effects and creative storytelling to suspend disbelief. Film analysis, special effects, CGI, the use of physics and scientific principles real or imagined to create believable superpowers. Action concepts, superhuman abilities, the laws of physics, the use of imagination and creative storytelling to push the boundaries of reality. Case study example, analyze the depiction of a specific superpower in a superhero film e.g. flight in Superman, telekinesis in X-Men and discuss how the filmmakers create a sense of awe and wonder. 29. The action comedy, balancing laughs and danger. Focus, Analyze the unique challenges and rewards of creating action comedies, examining how filmmakers blend physical comedy, witty dialogue, and thrilling action sequences. Film analysis, physical comedy, comedic timing, the use of satire and self-awareness, the interplay between humor and danger. Action concepts, physical comedy, slapstick, the use of humor to defuse tension, creating action sequences that are both thrilling and funny. Case study example, analyze the comedic action sequences in a film like The Naked Gun, Lethal Weapon, or Deadpool, examining how humor is integrated into the action. 30. The action thriller, building suspense and uncertainty. Focus, analyze the use of suspense and uncertainty in action thrillers, examining how filmmakers create a sense of dread, paranoia, and impending danger. Film analysis, plot structure, pacing, character development, the use of suspenseful music and sound design. Action concepts, suspense, uncertainty, creating a sense of dread, the role of psychological tension in action films. Case study example, analyze the use of suspense and uncertainty in an action thriller like North by Northwest, The Bourne Identity, or Sicario, examining how the filmmakers keep the audience on the edge of their seats. 1. Week 3. Midterm presentation, the art and science of action. Introduction. Look, begin with a dynamic action sequence from a film or video game. What makes an action scene truly compelling? Is it the sheer spectacle, the intricate choreography, or something more? How do filmmakers and game designers use the principles of physics, psychology, and storytelling to create thrilling and memorable action experiences? Overview. Briefly introduce the key concepts that will be covered in the presentation, such as the psychology of action, suspense, tension, catharsis. The physics of action, motion, force, impact, and the laws of physics as applied to action sequences. The art of action choreography, timing, rhythm, and the interplay between character, environment, and camera. Body. 1. The psychology of action, suspense and tension. Discuss how filmmakers create suspense and tension through pacing, foreshadowing, and the use of dramatic irony. Example, analyze how a ticking time bomb or a looming threat creates a sense of urgency and anticipation. Catharsis and audience engagement. Discuss the psychological and emotional impact of action sequences on the audience. Explore how well-crafted action can provide a sense of catharsis, release, and vicarious excitement. 2. The physics of action, Newton's laws in action. Discuss how Newton's laws of motion, inertia, acceleration, action-reaction are applied to action sequences in film and games. Provide examples. Inertia, the impact of a sudden stop or a powerful blow. Acceleration, the feeling of speed and momentum in a car chase or a high-speed fight. Action-reaction, the physics of impact and the realistic portrayal of force. The importance of realism or the lack thereof. Discuss the balance between realism and stylized action in film and games. Analyze how filmmakers can use physics to enhance realism or deliberately break the rules of physics for dramatic effect. 3. The art of action choreography, timing and rhythm. Discuss the importance of timing, rhythm, and pacing in creating dynamic and engaging action sequences. Analyze how choreographers use pauses, build-ups, and climaxes to create a sense of flow and excitement. Character and environment. Discuss how action sequences are shaped by the specific characteristics of the characters involved and the environment in which they take place. Analyze how filmmakers use the environment to their advantage, incorporating obstacles, hazards, and unique challenges into the action. Camera work and editing. Discuss the role of camera work and editing in shaping the perception of action. Analyze the use of techniques like fast cuts, slow motion, and point-of-view shots to enhance the intensity and excitement of action sequences. Conclusion. Summarize the key takeaways of the presentation, emphasizing the interplay between psychology, physics, and artistry in creating compelling action experiences. End with a thought-provoking question or a call to action that encourages further exploration of the art and science of action. For example, how can we push the boundaries of action filmmaking while still maintaining a sense of realism and emotional impact? Visual aids. Incorporate video clips of iconic action sequences from films and games. Use diagrams and illustrations to explain key concepts like Newton's laws of motion and the principles of cinematography. Create storyboards or sketches to illustrate the planning and execution of a simple action sequence. Presentation style. Engage the audience with dynamic visuals and interactive elements. Use clear and concise language that is accessible to a broad audience. Demonstrate enthusiasm and passion for the subject of action cinema and its impact on popular culture. 31. The parkour film, exploring urban movement and fluid motion. Focus, analyze the use of parkour and free running in action films, examining how these disciplines are integrated into storytelling and how they push the boundaries of human movement. Film analysis, cinematography, editing, the use of urban environments, the portrayal of athleticism and agility. Action concepts, parkour principles, fluid movement, the exploration of urban spaces, the use of movement to convey character and emotion. Case study example, analyze the parkour sequences in films like District B13, Casino Royale, or Prince of Persia, examining how parkour is used to enhance the action and storytelling. 32. The CGI action film, pushing the limits of visual effects. Focus, examine the role of CGI in modern action cinema, analyzing how visual effects are used to create spectacular action sequences that would be impossible to achieve with traditional techniques. Film analysis, CGI technology, motion capture, the use of virtual environments, the balance between practical effects and CGI. Action concepts, the impact of technology on action filmmaking, the creation of fantastical and impossible scenarios, the ethical considerations of excessive CGI use. Case study example, analyze the use of CGI in a modern blockbuster action film like The Avengers, Mad Max, Fury Road, or Avatar, examining how CGI enhances the action and storytelling. 33. The Western action film, a timeless genre. Focus, analyze the evolution of the Western action film, examining how classic Western themes of honor, justice, and revenge have been reimagined in modern action cinema. Film analysis, character archetypes, themes of good versus evil, the use of iconic Western imagery e.g. horses, guns, wide-open landscapes. Action concepts, gunfights, horseback chases, the use of Western iconography in contemporary action films. Case study example, analyze a modern Western action film like Django Unchained, The Hateful Eight, or Logan and discuss how it reinterprets classic Western tropes. 34. The video game action sequence, from pixels to performance capture. Focus, analyze the evolution of action sequences in video games, examining how game developers utilize interactive storytelling, player agency, and innovative gameplay mechanics to create thrilling and immersive experiences. Game analysis, gameplay mechanics, level design, character control, the use of motion capture and performance capture in video game development. Action concepts, player agency, interactive storytelling, the challenges and rewards of creating dynamic and responsive action gameplay. Case study example, analyze the action sequences in a popular video game like God of War, Uncharted, or Red Dead Redemption 2, examining how the game mechanics and level design contribute to the overall action experience. 35. The action film and social commentary, exploring themes of violence and power. Focus: analyze how action films can be used to explore social and political themes, examining how they can reflect on issues of violence, power, and social justice. Film analysis: themes of violence, power dynamics, social commentary, the use of action to explore broader societal issues. Action concepts: the ethical implications of violence in film, the use of action to critique social and political systems, the power of film to provoke thought and discussion. Case study example: analyze an action film that tackles social or political themes, such as District 9, Mad Max, Fury Road, or Black Panther, examining how the action sequences reflect the film's broader message. 36. The international action film, exploring global influences. Focus: analyze how action cinema draws inspiration from and reflects diverse global cultures and action traditions. Film analysis: cultural influences on action choreography, the use of different martial arts styles, the exploration of global locations and settings. Action concepts: global influences on action cinema, the blending of different cultural action traditions, the celebration of diversity in action filmmaking. Case study example: analyze an action film that draws inspiration from a specific culture or region, such as Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon Wuxia, Ong Bak Muay Thai, or The Raid Silat. 37. The stunt choreography, the art of illusion and precision. Focus: delve deeper into the art and science of stunt choreography, examining the planning, execution, and safety considerations involved in creating complex action sequences. Film analysis: the role of stunt coordinators, the use of wires, rigs, and other special effects equipment, the importance of safety and precision in stunt performance. Action concepts: stunt choreography, risk management, the use of technology and innovation in stunt performance, the importance of collaboration between stunt performers, directors, and cinematographers. Case study example: research the work of a renowned stunt coordinator and analyze their approach to creating innovative and exciting action sequences. 38. The action film and music, the power of the soundtrack. Focus: analyze the crucial role of music in shaping the mood, pacing, and impact of action sequences. Film analysis: the use of score, sound effects, and popular music in action films, the interplay between music and visual action, the creation of iconic action themes. Action concepts: the power of music to enhance emotion, build suspense, and create a sense of rhythm and dynamism. 1. Case study example: analyze the iconic soundtrack of an action film like The Matrix, Mad Max, Fury Road, or Mission Impossible, examining how the music enhances the action and contributes to the overall cinematic experience. 39. The action film and philosophy, exploring themes of morality, justice, and redemption. Focus: analyze how action films can explore complex philosophical themes, such as the nature of violence, the pursuit of justice, and the struggle between good and evil. Film analysis: the use of action to explore moral dilemmas, the portrayal of violence and its consequences, the search for redemption and personal growth. Action concepts: the ethical implications of violence, the pursuit of justice, the exploration of moral ambiguity, the use of action to convey deeper philosophical messages. Case study example: analyze an action film that explores complex philosophical themes, such as Logan, John Wick, or The Dark Knight, examining how the action sequences reflect and enhance the film's deeper meaning. 40. The future of action cinema, emerging trends and technologies. Focus: explore the future of action cinema, examining emerging technologies, evolving audience expectations, and the potential for new and innovative approaches to action filmmaking. Film analysis, the impact of VR/AR technology, the use of artificial intelligence in filmmaking, the evolving role of the audience in shaping action experiences. Action concepts, the future of special effects, interactive storytelling, the blurring of lines between film, games, and virtual reality, the potential for new and innovative forms of action entertainment. Case study example, explore emerging trends in action filmmaking, such as the use of virtual production techniques, the rise of action-oriented video games, and the potential for interactive action experiences. Key considerations for Week 4 Action Film Course, Deep Dive into Case Study 21, the over-the-shoulder shot. Film screening and analysis, screen a short clip from a film that effectively utilizes the over-the-shoulder shot, e.g. a tense interrogation scene, a dramatic confrontation. Analyze the shot composition, camera angles, and editing techniques used to create suspense and tension. Discuss how the over-the-shoulder shot affects the audience's perspective and emotional engagement. In-class activity, have students work in small groups to recreate a simple over-the-shoulder shot using their phones or cameras. Encourage experimentation with different camera angles, distances, and framing to understand the impact of these choices on the shot. Introducing Case Study 22, Slow Motion Bullet Time. Class discussion, discuss the impact of the bullet time effect on action cinema. Explore the ethical considerations of excessive CGI use in action films. Discuss the potential for overuse or misuse of this technique. Film clips, screen short clips from films that effectively utilize slow motion techniques, not necessarily bullet time, to enhance action and storytelling. Homework, assign individual research tasks related to Case Study 21 or 22. For example, research the history of the over-the-shoulder shot in film. Analyze the use of slow-motion techniques in a specific director's filmography. Research the technology behind bullet time and other slow-motion effects. Key points: active learning, incorporate hands-on activities, film screenings, and group discussions to engage students actively with the material. Critical analysis, encourage students to critically analyze the techniques and stylistic choices used in action films. Connecting theory to practice, help students understand how the theoretical concepts discussed in class relate to the practical aspects of filmmaking. 41. Rehearsing the improvisational score, finding structure within spontaneity. Focus, explore the rehearsal process for an improvisational dance piece, examining how choreographers guide and shape spontaneous movement while maintaining artistic integrity. Rehearsal concepts, improvisation techniques, score making, generating and refining material, finding structure within spontaneity, collaboration, and communication within the rehearsal process. Case study example, analyze the rehearsal process for a specific improvisational dance work, focusing on how the choreographer guides the dancers, shapes the material, and develops the overall structure of the piece. 42. Rehearsing with music, finding the perfect rhythmic dialogue. Focus, investigate the challenges and rewards of rehearsing dance to music, examining how choreographers find the right balance between responding to the music and expressing their own artistic vision. Rehearsal concepts, musicality, rhythm, phrasing, dynamics, the interplay between music and movement, finding the right tempo and mood. Case study example, analyze the rehearsal process for a dance piece with a strong musical component, examining how the choreographer integrates the music into the movement and refines the choreography in response to the musical score. 43. Rehearsing with props, integrating objects into the choreographic process. Focus, explore the challenges and opportunities of incorporating props into a dance piece, examining how props can enhance movement, storytelling, and character development. Rehearsal concepts, prop manipulation, exploring the physical and symbolic potential of props, integrating props seamlessly into the choreography, finding creative solutions to technical challenges. Case study example, analyze the rehearsal process for a dance piece that utilizes props, e.g. chairs, hoops, fabrics, examining how the props are introduced, manipulated, and integrated into the overall structure of the piece. 44. Rehearsing with character, developing and embodying roles. Focus, investigate the process of developing and embodying character in dance, examining how choreographers guide dancers in creating believable and compelling characters through movement. Rehearsal concepts, character development, acting for the camera, exploring character motivations and relationships, finding physical expressions for inner states. Case study example, analyze the rehearsal process for a dance piece that requires strong character development, such as a narrative piece, a theatrical dance, or a contemporary ballet. 45. The rehearsal room as a laboratory, experimentation, innovation, and discovery. Focus, emphasize the rehearsal room as a space for experimentation, innovation, and artistic discovery, exploring how choreographers and dancers push creative boundaries and develop new approaches to movement. Rehearsal concepts, experimentation, risk-taking, collaboration, finding new forms of movement, developing a unique choreographic voice. Case study example, analyze the rehearsal process of a choreographer known for their innovative and experimental approach to dance, examining how they utilize the rehearsal room as a laboratory for creative exploration. 46. Rehearsing for resilience, overcoming challenges and finding solutions. Focus, explore how dancers and choreographers navigate challenges and obstacles that arise during the rehearsal process, such as injuries, unexpected setbacks, and creative blocks. Rehearsal concepts, problem solving, adaptation, resilience, finding alternative approaches, maintaining motivation and focus. Case study example, analyze how a specific dance company or choreographer overcame a significant challenge during the rehearsal process, such as an injury to a principal dancer, the loss of funding, or the need to adapt to unforeseen circumstances. 47. The role of the rehearsal assistant, supporting the creative process. Focus, investigate the role of rehearsal assistants in the dance studio, examining their responsibilities, their contributions to the creative process, and their importance in supporting the choreographer and dancers. Rehearsal concepts, rehearsal assistants, stage management, note-taking, assisting with technical aspects, providing support to dancers, maintaining order and efficiency in the rehearsal room. Case study example, interview a rehearsal assistant or stage manager to gain insights into their role and responsibilities, and explore the impact of their work on the success of a dance production. 48. Rehearsing for sustainability, creating a healthy and sustainable rehearsal environment. Focus, explore the importance of creating a healthy and sustainable rehearsal environment, examining issues such as physical and mental well-being, injury prevention, and ethical considerations. Rehearsal concepts, physical and mental health, injury prevention, ergonomics, ethical considerations e.g. fair wages, safe working conditions, creating a supportive and inclusive rehearsal environment. Case study example, research and analyze best practices for creating a healthy and sustainable rehearsal environment, considering factors such as warm-up routines, cross-training, and mental health support for dancers. 49. Rehearsing for innovation, exploring new technologies and approaches. Focus, investigate the use of new technologies and approaches in the rehearsal process, examining how tools such as motion capture, virtual reality, and artificial intelligence are transforming the way dancers and choreographers work. Rehearsal concepts, technology in rehearsal, motion capture, virtual reality, artificial intelligence, using technology to enhance creativity and innovation. Case study example, analyze how a specific dance company or choreographer is utilizing new technologies to enhance their rehearsal process and create innovative work. 50 Rehearsing for life, embodying movement in everyday life. Focus, explore the connection between the rehearsal process and everyday life, examining how the principles of discipline, focus, and creative exploration learned in the rehearsal room can be applied to other areas of life. Rehearsal concepts, life as a metaphor for the rehearsal process, cultivating discipline and focus, developing resilience, the importance of lifelong learning and artistic growth. Case study example, encourage students to reflect on their own experiences in the rehearsal room and consider how the principles of rehearsal can be applied to other aspects of their lives, such as academics, personal relationships, and career development. Key considerations for Week 5 rehearsal case studies, depth of analysis, encourage students to move beyond surface-level observations. Guide them to analyze the why behind specific rehearsal choices. For example, instead of simply stating that a choreographer uses a particular exercise, ask students to analyze why that exercise is effective in achieving the desired outcome. Practical application, have students apply the concepts discussed in the case studies to their own rehearsal processes. Encourage them to keep rehearsal journals and document their own experiences. Facilitate peer feedback sessions where students can observe each other's rehearsal processes and provide constructive criticism. Guest speakers, invite guest speakers, choreographers, dancers, rehearsal assistants, stage managers to share their insights and experiences. These guest speakers can provide valuable real-world perspectives and answer student questions. Film screenings and discussions, screen rehearsal footage from dance films or documentaries to illustrate key concepts and provide visual examples. Facilitate discussions on the challenges and triumphs observed in the rehearsal process. Ethical considerations, throughout the discussion of these case studies, emphasize the importance of ethical considerations in the rehearsal room, such as creating a safe and supportive environment for all dancers, ensuring fair treatment, and addressing issues of power dynamics. Interdisciplinary connections, encourage students to connect the concepts discussed in these case studies to other disciplines, such as theater, music, and sports. Explore how principles of rehearsal, such as discipline, focus, and collaboration, can be applied to other areas of life. Week 6. Final presentation. Title, A Deep Dive, Exploring the Choreographic Process from Conception to Performance. Introduction. Book, begin with a captivating anecdote or a short, impactful dance excerpt that embodies a key concept explored throughout the course, e.g. the power of improvisation, the importance of collaboration, the transformative nature of the rehearsal process. Course overview, briefly summarize the key themes and concepts explored throughout the course, such as the physics of motion, the evolution of human action, the importance of artistic permanence, the rehearsal process, and the role of technology in dance. Presentation focus, state the specific focus of your presentation. For example, this presentation will explore the creative journey of a specific choreographer, analyzing their unique approach to the choreographic process and the impact of their work on the field of dance. This presentation will investigate the ethical considerations facing contemporary choreographers, examining issues of representation, sustainability, and the impact of technology on the art form. This presentation will propose a new approach to dance education, drawing upon the insights and learnings gained throughout this course. Body. 1. Core concepts. Briefly review 2 to 3 of the most significant concepts explored throughout the course. Provide specific examples from the case studies to illustrate these concepts. Connect these concepts to your chosen presentation focus. 2. In-depth analysis. Conduct an in-depth analysis of your chosen focus. If focusing on a choreographer, analyze their biography, artistic philosophy, key works, and their impact on the field. If focusing on a specific issue, conduct research, analyze existing literature, and develop your own critical analysis and proposed solutions. 3. Creative application. Demonstrate how the concepts explored in the course can be applied to your own creative practice if applicable. For example, if you are a dancer, discuss how you will apply the principles of somatic practices to your own training and performance. If you are interested in choreography, outline a potential project and how you would approach the rehearsal process based on the insights gained throughout the course. Conclusion. Summarize the key takeaways of your presentation and their significance for the field of dance. Discuss the future of choreography and the evolving role of the artist in today's world. End with a thought-provoking question or a call to action that encourages further exploration and engagement with the art of choreography. Visual aids. Use high-quality visuals, incorporate images, videos, and multimedia elements to enhance your presentation. Create clear and concise slides. Use visuals to support your arguments and make your presentation more engaging. Consider incorporating movement or a short performance excerpt to illustrate key concepts or demonstrate your own creative work. Presentation style. Deliver your presentation with confidence and enthusiasm. Engage with the audience through eye contact and clear, concise language. Be prepared to answer questions and engage in a thoughtful discussion. Remember to cite all sources properly. Practice your presentation beforehand. Tailor your presentation to your specific interests and the overall goals of the course.
Rhythm flows and shadows move like a prowler. Stealthy, unseen, steps echo louder. Crime in the groove, night creeps for miles. Masked dancers twist, grimace and smiles. Back alley ballet, sinister swerves. Feet land heavy, asphalt serves nerves. Limbs articulate, silence in the pulse. Bodies parlay, no light convulse. Midnight syncopation, steps blur the scene. Glide through the fog, blue lights intervene. Concrete courts, choreography's crime. Dark telling secrets, one beat at a time. Twist like spirits, smoke trails behind. Movements mimic phantoms, shadows confined. Emerald glint from hidden blades. Rhythm of danger, beat cascades. Whispered cadence, footfalls blend. Midnight melodies, darkness transcend. Every step a tale, each move a shift. Echoes of the night, sinister drift. Ghastly grooves in the moon's cold stare. Wicked waltz where nightmares share. Phantom limbs, phantom grace. Dancers lost in eternal chase. Ballet, sinister swerves. Feet land heavy, asphalt serves nerves. Limbs articulate, silence in the pulse. Bodies parlay, no light convulse. Midnight syncopation, steps blur the scene. Glide through the fog, blue lights intervene. Concrete courts, choreography's crime. Dark telling secrets, one beat at a time. Twist like spirits, smoke trails behind. Movements mimic phantoms, shadows confined. Quick from hidden blades. Rhythm of danger, beat cascades. Twist like cadence, footfalls blend. Midnight melodies, darkness transcend. Every step a tale, each move a shift. Echoes of the night, sinister drift. Ghastly grooves moves in the moon's cold stare. Wicked walls where nightmares share. Phantom limbs, phantom grace. Dancers lost in eternal chase.